Ladies and gentlemen, very pleased to welcome Sayyid Abdrakhmanov, manager of Piran and numerous other elite fighters around the world. Sayyid, very good to see you. You're still based in Phuket right now. You're heading off soon, I assume. How's everything going?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Andrew. Hello to your listeners. Yeah, still based in Phuket and leaving to the States at the end of this week.
It's a massive, massive fight in the history of the bantamweight division. Piran, Aljamain Sterling. How important is this in terms of MMA history, do you think, especially at 135?
I think it's one of the biggest fights in the division, being rematch, having this history, and such a long build-up. And I think it's very important and very historical fight for the division for sure.
When you look at the development of Piran, I remember when he came to Tiger, I mean, he hadn't had many fights, right? And every time you see him train, he just looks better, faster, stronger. I feel like his career has just gone like that. How good is he? Do you think he's going to go down as one of the greats?
I have no doubt that he is one of the greatest athletes already. He just needs opponents and results to show it to the world, Since day one, like everyone around him knows that he's destined for the great future. And right now people start to realize it, like I can tell from the fan base only after Corey fight, they really start to notice his real level. And to be honest, he didn't even show his full potential in the cage yet. So for me, if there's no other, let me say, force majeures, he's gonna go down as one of the greatest bantamweights of all time.
In your opinion, is Aljo even on his level?
I don't think there's no one on his level in the bantamweight division. So I feel like he's going to be a dominant champion for a long time.
There's been a lot of build up to this one on Twitter. Piran says stuff, Aljo says stuff. How interesting has that back and forth been for you, and how involved are you in that back and forth?
I have to be involved because I have to translate all the stuff Aljo says to Piran. I have to translate what Piran says back to him, To be honest, myself, I'm tired of it. I can't wait for the story to be over and move on, because it's been over a year and I have to be involved. I don't want to be involved, but I have to be. So can't wait for it to be over.
Do they really genuinely not like each other?
I don't know about Aljamain, but Piotr generally doesn't like him, yeah.
After this, do you think, has he spoken to you about his ambitions? Because I guess it all started with Conor with 2 belts. And we've had a few two belt world champions now in different organizations. Does he speak to you about 2 belts?
We've spoken about that, but it's not something that we as a team gonna purchase actively by ourselves. If UFC wants it, and if they have an offer that suits us, we can go for it. But we're not gonna be the ones asking for it, because our goal is to clear out the 135 division first.
Do you think TJ Dillashaw is a bigger challenge than Aljamain Sterling?
Well, I can say for Piotr, for him, it's the biggest challenge, just because of what TJ accomplished in the sport. And it's someone Piotr was watching even before he was in UFC. So that's important and big fight for him. So that's a fight that gonna motivate him, even more. And stylistically, it's a different fight than with Aljo. That presents different difficulties, but I believe Piotr is gonna solve it.
Is that what's naturally next then? That's the biggest fight to make, Piotr versus TJ?
I think it makes sense, I think it makes sense TJ, like the other one is Josaldo, but Piotr already beat him. Piotr beat Corey, and once he passes the next fight, you know, I think it's gonna be TJ next.
How is it having Peter at Tiger? Like, how does everybody else see him? It must be exciting for everybody else. Does he help raise everybody else's level? I saw him training with Anatoly Malakin. I mean, those guys are absolute monsters.
Yeah, the atmosphere around the gym was pretty good, fun, you know. It's been a long camp, but the energy is very good and very high, and it's the first high season since pandemic, after Thailand was open, and it's pretty good for the gym, for the Phuket, for the whole street, you know, just everything coming back to life, and it was awesome.
How cool has it been for the bantamweights? I've seen people like Marlon Moraes there, and Fabrizio Andrade has just been flying recently. Like, who is Peter's main training partners, and who helps give him the biggest test?
So main training partners, Piotr kept the same people who was helping him for the Sandhagen fight. He flew them from Russia. It's Sharapudin Magomedov, pretty good wrestler from Dagestan. Then it's Vyacheslav Svishov, the fighter from the Siberia, Omsk, Russia. Artem Belach, and of course having like Marlon, he also was joined the group too, and other guys. It was a good camp with a lot of different training partners, and myself, like looking from the outside, I was pretty happy how the whole camp went down. Yeah.
So I mentioned Andrade. Is he one of your guys? Because do you think he's the future champion in one? I see him calling out John Lineker. That seems like an amazing fight among the Brazilians.
For me, I have no doubt he's the best bantamweight in one championship. He has the skill, he has the mindset. It's just about the opportunity. It's about the timing and the right fight. But I believe he has the skill and the mindset to be the champion for sure.
Rafa Fiziev was supposed to fight the other Rafael. He got COVID. That was disappointing because the fans loved that fight. I know Rafa loves that fight. How's he doing? Is that going to be back on soon? And how important is that fight for his career?
He's doing okay. He's just coming back to Phuket actually tonight, and gonna resume his training. Hopefully, there's no long-term bad side effects from COVID, and we plan the target his comeback for June or July. There's if Singapore card gonna materialize and gonna be perfect, you know, to our flight from Phuket, and we hope to secure this fight again with Rafael dos Anjos. You know, Rafa is top 10 in UFC now. Everyone else have a fight already booked, so I think it makes sense. I believe RD maybe have a different opinion, but I believe this fight makes sense. You know,
we've seen guys beat RDA before and then go on to be world champions. Is that the sense you get about Rafa?
Yeah, it's important, you know, like one thing, me from the outside seeing like a fighter having the championship potential, but the other things, fighter himself realize it and beating the former champion, you know, it's something that gives you this boost, gives you this momentum, and can give you opportunity to challenge and to win the title for sure.
The last guy I want to ask you about is, I want to quickly ask you about Khamzat Chimaev. What was it like having him at the gym? Was there an extra buzz about the place? I spoke to Rafa and he said they sparred a little bit and he is as good as everybody said.
Yeah, Khamzat, like just having him in the gym was good because you can tell he's a big name already, you know, by how people receiving him, treating him, and him, like his work ethic is that something that amazed me mostly, and because he really trains hard, and he's have really great like physical attributes, and he's still young and he still has so much potential to improve. That's what's, you know, like really scary about him. So he has I believe he have everything, you know, also to become a champion in the future.
Well, right now he's in the same division as Shavkat Rakhmonov. Shavkat doesn't really like the comparisons just because those guys are both killers. They're both on streaks. I mean, they're very different fighters. But do you see Shavkat as the next guy to tear this division up?
Yeah, I have no doubt. Shavkat also has the skills and the mindset. He just has a different approach, you know. He's not gonna have a fast rise as a Khamzat in the division. Shavkat's, you know, taking things more like methodically, slowly, and he's climbing up at his own pace, but he's gonna be there on top for sure. I have no doubts.
How proud are you of what you've seen so far? And do you have a plan for him to kind of climb the rankings in a measured way?
Well, next is someone from top 15 for sure. Him being in the rankings also is a great step. So someone from 11 to 14 will be good for him, and then it will be then someone next from within the top 10. And just looking at the current top 15 rankings, I believe he matchups well with everyone.
If you had your choice, who do you think would be the most fun matchup? We've got, you know, Ponzinibbio, the Leech, Jeff Neal, Khamzat's 11, Chiesa. Who do you think would be the best matchup for him and for the fans?
I think Jeff Neal will be the great fight. Jeff Neal will be a great next fight. Yeah.
It'll be fun, man. So what's your prediction, if you could? Peter, is he going to get the finish against Aljo?
I believe so. I believe so because, you know, everyone thinks that Peter is like a slow starter, but this time it's going to be a rematch. So Peter is already has all information he needs. He doesn't have to start slowly. So I believe he's gonna push the pace much earlier, and Aljamain gonna break down a little bit earlier too this time, and I believe it's gonna lead to the finish.
What do you think? Round 2, round 3?
Well, whenever he wants. Whenever really, I believe whenever he wants, whenever he sees the opening. Most important, he don't have to chase the finish. You know, the finish will come. You know, he just have to stay cold-blooded and don't have to be emotional, and the finish is gonna come.